Finish the first useful tool lesson of 3. This one was the scribble tool with your name. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to the Tinkercad homepage by clicking the Tinkercad logo. So I left clicked on the Tinkercad logo. It takes me back to the homepage. You'll notice that you can see in the kind of the thumbnail here, it's nicely animated. My previous document. Sometimes the thumbnail doesn't come up properly, so just be aware of that. You might just have to click Tinker this if the thumbnail comes up incorrectly for your document. Here it looks fine. I'm going to go ahead and create a new document again for my next useful tool. Go to plus create 3D design, and it's going to open up a blank work plane. So I'm going to start with this. The next thing I'm going to do is go to the sketch tool, and I'm just going to go ahead and drag it to my work plane to do the next useful tool. For this one, we're going to recreate the Nike logo. So I'm just going to go ahead and zoom out by scrolling on the mouse wheel, and that way I can see this kind of like, this is what we call like computer graph paper that we used back in the day, so they kind of have that set up for you nicely. And so scrolling on the mouse wheel will zoom out, zoom in. And I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that I'm in the Bezier curve tool. Okay, so you want to make sure you click on that. That's really important, curves, because we're making the Nike logo and there's a lot of curves in the swoosh, right? The Nike swoosh. So I'm just going to go ahead now and I'm going to make my first 2 points. This is an anchor point. So I'm going to throw down my first anchor point by left clicking. And then I'm just going to go ahead and left click and drag that second anchor point. And I'm just going to kind of make that Nike kind of like first outward curve there. All right, and then I'm going to bring it up past this point here. So I'm going to bring it up past there. There we go. And I'm going to make it a nice long swoosh, right? Because it's a lot of movement in the Nike logo. And then I'm just going to go ahead and make my next point. We'll go about halfway here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and connect the Nike swoosh, make it really nice. And there we go. We've got our Nike swoosh. Okay. Now I'm going to hit finish sketch. Okay. So it made the Nike swoosh. You can make it, I think I made it a little bit too close to the edge of the curve here. So you can make it a little bit cleaner. Can you revise this? Yeah, probably. I'm going to double click on it. I'm going to click on this, go to the edit, modify. So this is nice. So I can just bring it down a little bit and kind of bring it in a little. So to kind of make that little curve more. So you can modify it if you want to, make it look nice. I've got my imitation Nike logo. Make it remotely close to the Nike logo. That's really the expectation. So do your best. If it's not exactly like it, some of you are diehard Nike people and can tell the difference. So then you push yourself even further to make it the Nike logo. But do the best you can. You're graded on how well you use the tool, not necessarily how exactly it has to be by the Nike logo, but do your best and push yourself to see if you can do the best on this one. Next thing I'm going to do, same with the scribble tool with their name. I'm going to go ahead and realign this or move the axis on the correct way so it faces me. So notice how I went 90 degrees and I did a kind of an interesting angle there. If you need to, sometimes it gets a little tricky. You need to rotate it so you can get the better axis and then go 90. You can feel free to do that, okay? So that gets you all set up there. And then I'm going to bring it up. And remember, with like the scribble tool, I'm going to go past the work plane, and then I'm going to press D, and that drops down on that work plane. So I have the Nike logo. I'm going to go ahead and take that screenshot. Command-Shift-3 takes a nice little screenshot. I've got it for my desktop, so I can turn that in along with my scribble tool name, okay? So I've got that set up, and I do have one more useful tool to go over.